Good morning. Chapter 21, I think it is. Part 2. You are a badass. We're going to get into this. Got to get it in. When we agree to let ourselves down in favor of supporting the bad behaviors of others, it often stems from the same impulse. We're unwilling to make other people more uncomfortable than they just made us. Not terribly steadily in the old self-love department, is it? But by making them busy day already. By making them uncomfortable, I mean declining to participate in their drama. By the way, not by being equally abusive back. This isn't about getting an eye for an eye and sinking to a lower level. It's about standing up for your higher self, no matter if the person you're dealing with should choose to have the experience of feeling disappointed, feeling hurt, feeling inconvenienced, seeing you as a crazy person. It's about respecting yourself instead of catering to your insecure need to be liked. This is incredibly powerful, but when you love yourself enough to stand in your truth, no matter what the cost, everyone benefits. You start attracting the kinds of things, people, and opportunities that are in alignment with you, who you truly are, which is way more fun than hanging out with a bunch of irritating energy suckers. And by declining to participate in other people's drama, such as refusing to rip people to shreds, to complain about how unfair the world is, you not only raise your own frequency, but you offer the drama queens the chance to rise up too, instead of everyone continuing to play a low, lame game. Never apologize for who you are. It lets the whole world down. We all know someone who does not take shit from anyone. Ever. We look upon these types of people with wide-eyed reverence and would never dream of being stupid enough to present them with any of our BS or try to make them wrong. Why? Because we respect them and are usually kind of terrified of them in a healthy way. I hope nobody's scared of me. And why do we respect them? Because they respect themselves. So how can you get rid of your lame-o projections and judgments and grace the world with your highest, most unapologetic self? 1, own you're ugly. Start noticing things that drive you nuts about other people. And instead of complaining or judging or getting defensive about them, use them as a mirror, especially if you find yourself getting really worked up. Get mighty real with yourself. Is this quality something you have yourself? Or is there a certain aspect to it that you loathe to admit it's just like you? Or does it remind you of something you're actively trying to suppress or avoid? Or that you're actively doing just the opposite of? Or that you're threatened by? Become fascinated by, instead of furious about, the irritants surrounding you, and get your learning on. 2, question you're ugly. Once you discover what part of yourself you're projecting onto the person who is presently bugging the living crap out of you, you can start letting it go. Begin by asking yourself some very simple questions and diffusing the limiting and false stories you've been lugging around for ages. For example, if you're all pissed off that friend who's always late is late again, it's pushing your buttons because you're holding on to some sort of truth about the way people should be on time. Flip it around and ask yourself things like, in what ways am I always late or inconsiderate or unreliable? Or maybe it's, in what ways am I too rigid or controlling? Once you have your answer, ask yourself, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be for this situation not to bother me? Using the above scenario, let's say you discover that you're a lot more rigid than you care to admit. This is very valuable information because you know now that in order to be happier, you need to loosen your bone, Wilma. Stop insisting that people do things exactly the way you do them, especially the people in your life who have proven they most definitely won't. Notice where you are being ridiculously demanding simply because it's become your habit, and not because it's really necessary to constantly ask yourself, can I let this one go? By becoming aware of what we do, we can investigate why we do it and then choose to keep it or drop it instead of blindly reacting through habit. What am I getting out of being this way? As discussed in chapter 17, it's so easy once you figure it out, isn't it? Hard? We don't do anything unless we're getting something out of it, even if what we're getting are false benefits. Using this scenario, some of the positive benefits of being rigid are that you're always on time, you always get shit done, etc. But there are also some negative advantages to being rigid too. You intimidate people into getting your way. You get to be right whenever someone messes up, which they'll do often if you really honed your rigid thing well. You get to be in control, etc. But once you bust yourself out of the false reward you're getting from holding on to this behavior, you can see it for what it is, something that's not always in alignment with who you truly are and aspire to be, and release it when it's not working. How would I feel if I wasn't this way? One of the best ways to release the aforementioned lousy behavior is by asking yourself how you'd feel if this wasn't true for you anymore. How would I feel if I took the pole out of my ass about everyone doing everything exactly how I say it to do it all the time in every circumstance? Ask the question and then imagine yourself as this person who has to let it go. How does your body feel? What do you use the brain space for that used to take up this poisonous thoughts about the inconsiderate pinheads you're surrounded by who are not following your instructions? Feel into the reality of what it would be like to let this go. Breathe into it, visualize it, fall in love with not having it anymore, and then kick it to the curb. Number 3, be an enabler. In the fuzzier cases, where you're not sure what to do, but you really want. Wow, sorry guys, I'm tired. I'm going to finish this chapter out though. In the fuzzier cases, where you're not sure what to do, but you really do want to help someone, recognize the difference between helping and enabling. When you reach out a helping hand, do you feel like they're pulling you down or that you're lifting them up towards their potential? Are they grateful or entitled? Do they use your help to actively move themselves into a positive direction, or do they constantly need more, more, more? Just this one last time, for the 15th time, pay attention and trust how you feel. If you are truly helping them and they're rising to the occasion, it will raise everyone's frequencies and you'll feel good. If you're enabling them, you'll feel heavy, depressed, and eventually resentful. When it's no fun to kick someone to the curb when they're at their lowest low, if you constantly bail them out, they'll never wake up and save themselves. Why should they? They've got you to fund their pity party. Tough love is still love. Number 4, give painful people to the heave-ho. Sometimes, no matter how much work you do on yourself and how forgiving you are and how skilled you get at letting it go, there's just no way around it. Some people are just too committed to their own dysfunction. They're painful to be around. You'd rather cover yourself with fleas of 1,000 camels than go out for a cup of coffee with them. This is all about learning and loving and growing into the highest version of yourself, not seeing just how much torture you can endure. So along with understanding how to grow from the not so savory behavior of those around you, it's also important to understand how to get the hell away from them if they're chronically self-obsessed or violent or blaming or negative or controlling or jealous or high drama or manipulative or victimized or whiny or pessimistic or mean to animals. Here's how. First, feed your head. As discussed, a lot of times the people we need to kick to the curb happen to be those we love, or at least like a lot, for the decent qualities. Hence, ye old guilt can really get in your way trying to do the right thing. So stay strong. See it as being nice to yourself instead of being mean to them. Remembering that you are rising up to be the highest version of yourself instead of shrinking down to their level can give you the strength you need to shake them off your leg. Next, hit eject. Another important thing to remember when you're yanking the weeds out of your garden is to not get involved in their drama. Cut the cord as quickly and simply as possible with little to no discussion. If they're so oblivious to your feelings that you need to toss them out of your life, chances are very good they won't see this coming. So the discussion on why you need to end it could go on for the rest of your lives if you let it. Suddenly, get really busy, fade them out, wean them off you with zero explanation. The louder they scream, the busier you suddenly get. If having a conversation is unavoidable, remember, you've already decided that you want out. So don't get sucked into working through your decision or their problems with them. Simply say that the relationship isn't working for you, that you don't like how it makes you feel, that you have to end it, and that it's not open for discussion. Make it all about you. Give them nothing to work with or argue on their behalf. Number 5, love yourself. Fiercely, loyally, and unapologetically. We will get on with chapter 22 tomorrow. See ya.